she's looking like her mom today.
Okay.
Hey, it's Taylor of Taylor Love, Taylor's All Love Stranger Comedy Show, and I'm here with
Let's Talk with Wanda.
and we are in our satellite studio. So we're just trying it out for today to see if we like the venue, and so bear with us because we're working through some things to see how we like it. So anyway, we're going to be talking about Father's Day. This is our Father's Day tribute, and so let's talk about the relationships between girls and their dads.
Okay.
Well, my experience is I love my dad, but for a good portion of my life I lived with my mom, and then I moved with my dad when I was 12. But I found that, my father would be the type of man that I would like to marry. He's educated, he's handsome, he's smart, and he worked.
He is.
So, girls tend to pick guys, I think, that are like their fathers. Or it could be opposite. Pick somebody who's not like their father.
Yes.
So what do you think about that?
On my experience with my dad, I was very young when my parents divorced, but I do have memories of my parents being together, living under one roof with my father. My father was young, very
Handsome.
outgoing.
Handsome.
He was an entrepreneur, and I don't think my father really understood his role as being a husband or father. So I always knew my father kept a roof over our heads. He kept the car immaculate. So I always like a man who can keep a clean car. He kept the grass cut and everything. So I saw things like that. I never saw affection or really love until later. Like now, me and my father have a better relationship. We talk more. We show more affection to each other, which I like. So I'm glad that we got to that point in my life, so I can, have some good understanding. Things came together. So.
Right, and then a lot of times it's, when guys or dads or fathers, they're young too, so they're learning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never really too late to build a relationship because we all grow, we all learn from our mistakes, and then I'm sure a lot of times they look back and wish they had done things differently, and sometimes we may not get the benefit of that change. Sometimes our children, they'll reach back to the grands,
right, exactly,
because if we off doing their thing, then they'll reach out to the grands to try and build a relationship that they didn't have sometimes with their own daughters.
I think this is a tradition with African American families. Our fathers are always been absent in a way, and it was like a grandfather role, but not the father. That was kind of the male figure, but I think it's kind of traditional, and I think it's being corrected now a little bit more with our families, where men are becoming more stable and understand the relationship between his role as being a father and with the kids. So I see more activity with the younger guys coming up with their kids than maybe with our kind of generation.
Right. And then with my generation, it wasn't, like you were saying, they came, they paid the bills, and they went off to work. And it wasn't really a nurturing kind of relationship.
How was your day-to-day,
right.
Taylor? I mean, did you make good grades in school, or?
As I got older, we became, and I guess because we could share information or have more conversation on a different level, that we became closer when I was able to debate issues, because my father and I, we like to debate, not argue, but debate. But we like to bring up things and then see where each of us stand on the issues. And so it wasn't until later that we developed that. But as a child, it wasn't, run and hug and
let's go play catch or something.
Right. And the same thing I think with fathers and son relationships. I mean, we're not sons, so we can't really speak to it. But look at it when, sons need a figure to emulate. And if you see your father doing something positive, then more than likely you'll do something the same,
or negative,
or vice versa.
And you look at that too. So either way, Somebody's looking at you.
So,
Yeah,
with that
while
being
you're looking at us, we're looking at you.
And so we wanted to talk about some of the different fathers. We pulled some, like the same way we did our Mother's Day tribute. We're doing our Father's Day tribute. So we're going to start with some public figure dads. And look, we did arts and crafts. This is Barack Obama and his daughters, and they just look so cool together. I mean, how cool is that to sit with next to your dad and he's the president?
But look at his, how he was brought up. His father wasn't always in his life.
Right.
And he was raised by his mother and grandparents. And, I mean, he seems to be a nurturing father, you know, wants to be with his family, wants to do the opposite of what he knows.
Exactly.
And so, you know, we have to give kudos to President Obama.
Oh, my God,
You
yeah.
know, he's our hero anyway.
And who do you have as your public figure?
I have George Washington. Now you probably say, why do you have George Washington? I have George Washington because he's the first president and he's the father of our nation. And George Washington was interesting when I was looking back at some things trying to figure out why I picked him as a father figure. I read that George Washington really didn't care for his mother, Mary Bell Washington, which was kind of wild.
Say it ain't so.
Yes, and they said because she was very demanding and a difficult person.
Oh.
But George Washington, as growing up, became a young man. He married Mary Washington, which is his wife. And during that time, they would inherit slaves. And he would inherit slaves. And he would kind of be like a master, we say. But I look back at it and I think that's like a father figure. Somebody who's telling you what to do, when to do it, clean it, or whatever. But I mean, I know it's more difficult than being a father. But anyway, so I thought it was interesting. And he had a lot of slaves during his marriage and becoming president. But also that was never really stated that he didn't like slavery. And that he wanted his slaves to be free eventually, but here is a quote saying Washington came to oppose slavery on both moral and economic grounds. So really, he was a father and cared for maybe his slaves at the time, but really didn't see the vision of to let them go.
Right. And then, being president, I guess during those times, it was hard to everybody wanted slavery to stay as an institution, so him to kind of stand alone and say we're gonna free some slaves, but at least that did entered
his mind.
Yeah,
he has a heart. You know that wasn't right, but yes.
And who else do you have?
I have Thomas Jefferson. Now Thomas Jefferson is here, and the young lady with him is Sally Hemings. And she was the concubine of Thomas Jefferson.
Concubine.
And as you know, your history, Thomas Jefferson was also a president. And Thomas Jefferson, they said, was pretty much the American founding father. And he was married to somebody, not Sally, but he was married to, who was he married to?
I don't even know.
Martha. Yeah, Martha Jefferson. And he was married to her for a long time. But Martha died pretty young. She died at 33, and they had 5 children together.
She died at how old?
33.
That is young.
Yeah, for back then. But she had 5 children with Thomas Jefferson. And they said he was a good father. He was a great husband because Martha made him promise her on her deathbed not to marry nobody else because she didn't want another woman raising her children.
But you have slaves, so they're raising your children anyway.
Right. So he never married anybody else because he didn't have to, because he had Sally on the side who had kids. And this went all the way to, I think, the Supreme Court to see about the DNA of Thomas Jefferson with the kids about, 50 years
what they supposed to get.
And that he had fathered some slave black kids. But he was with Sally the whole time until he passed. And so that was kind of interesting. And about his relationship. Another person who owned slaves but really didn't want to. And they said also that he wanted to free his slaves and move to Pennsylvania. And then they said if a slave was in Pennsylvania for 6 months, they would be free. But then, of course, some upper Tea Party people heard about it back then and didn't let that
Those
go.
Tea Partiers were, God, they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
My person that I picked was Will Smith. And wanted to ask me, why'd you pick Will Smith? And I said, I don't know. But anyway, I have Will Smith, and he's with his sons, and he's with Willow here. Down here is a picture, and I don't know if you can see it, but I'm sure you've all heard about it. She's 13, and she is on the bed with,
20-year-old.
Arias, who is
Disney star.
a Disney star. So that caused a lot of controversy, but as Wanda was bringing to my attention, Jada is the only one that really spoke about it, and will remain silent in terms of media. And I don't know why that is. First, well, I'm on the outside looking in, but to me it looks like she kind of runs that show. And he seems to be a little more passive, so I don't know if she said, I'll handle it and took care of it. But as a father, even though that picture may be innocent, it doesn't look that innocent. And also right here is a picture of Willow, and they were talking about how she dresses so grown up. And then I got to thinking about that as well. I know when you're people are rich or famous or whatever, your lifestyle may be a little different, but we want to keep our kids as long as we can. And as a father and a daughter, it's hard for me to think of him just seeing his daughter going out like that or laying in the bed with some guy with a shirt on and not saying anything. So I don't know. My vote is kind of out on that. So I don't know what the deal is on that. But I did say to Wanda that almost every picture that I tried to find of Will, he and Jada and the kids were always together. So I did appreciate that about them. And so we're going to talk about some movie and TV dads now. You want to go?
Okay, I have the Jello Pop Cosby Show King, Bill Cosby.
Oh my God.
Okay?
Cliff Huxtable.
Cliff Huxtable. Now, Bill Cosby, give you a little background on him. He's the oldest of 4 boys, and he grew up in Philadelphia. And his father was a heavy drinker. And his father enlisted in the U.S. Navy, which I thought was kind of
strange back in that
day. How old was his father enlisted in the Navy?
When
say about mid-20s, maybe 30s, because maybe they had the kids young. And so he became, which a lot of male young boys do, becomes the parent to his brothers or siblings, or even try to be like the father of the house because the absentee father is not there. So Bill Cosby stepped in, and he did this and worked like when he was 9 years old to help his mother with the family because she cleaned houses and everything. So he was very gifted, had a very good IQ, but he wanted to be a comedian. So of course we all know where it ends up, that he has his fabulous show, The Cosby Show, which started in the 1980s, mid-1984. And the show gave the conception to show the world that the African American black families are not just like good times or what's happening, a single parent in the house or they're struggling.
The father can't find a job.
He was a doctor, GYN. The wife, Claire, was a lawyer, and they had 5 wonderful, well-behaved children. And, they came to their parents and discussed anything in their dreams and goals, or even their little problems from day to day. They might have forgot their lunch money or something. So, this gave a good outlook to show black people in a good light when that show was aired. But then, the show came off the TV in 1992, and then he had a little difficulty because, unfortunately, Mr. Cosby lost his son, Enos, and everybody heard about that because, remember, he was changing his tire on the Beltway in California, and this lady shot him to death. shot him while he was changing his
Right,
tire.
but I never figured out what was the story
It
behind
was
that.
something about, well, let me not go there and start a new
Okay.
Inquirer article,
We're
but
gonna keep it clean today.
we want to say
because it's Father's
he was
Day.
murdered while shooting, changing
In
his
the
tire.
tire. Okay. She'll
But-
tell me off camera.
But here's a little thing. He also had a scandal going on with a lady named Autumn Jackson.
That's right. Is
That
that
said he was the father of her child, which was a little girl, and she blackmailed him for $40 million, but she ended up going to jail for extortion and was sentenced to 26 months in prison, which ain't hardly nothing. But anyway, but I guess she never got child support, nothing. But the baby was never his, the claim.
Oh, okay.
So that's Bill Cosby, who probably is still a good dad. He's still with his wife for a long time.
What was her name? Camille.
And she's from this area, Maryland. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And now I have a movie dad, Liam Neeson, who was in Taken. And it just showed the lengths that a father would go to
Yes.
for his child. He was, his daughter lived with her mom, and the daughter wanted to go to France with her girlfriend, and Liam Neeson, the dad, didn't want her to go. And the mother was like, let her go, let her go. And they were, I think, 17-ish, so they get on the plane, they go, and being girls, and, you know, they befriended some guys who ended up following them and tried to sell them into
Sex trafficking.
into sex trafficking. And I guess, so when he found out, he was talking to her on the phone, and he said, they're going to take you.
Mm-hmm.
So just be prepared.
They're going to get you there.
It's going to
But
happen.
Daddy's coming.
That's right. And he came and he got his daughter. And it was a good movie. It was kind of hard to watch, though.
Yeah, it was.
It was really hard to watch, but you know, the love of a father, and you taking his baby girl.
That's right.
So anyway, what's going on with this guy
So
right
this
here?
is Denzel Washington.
Ooh,
Well,
Arts
arts
and
and crafts messing up. But this is Denzel Washington in the movie John Q,
John Q.
who was a father trying to help his child who was terminally sick in the hospital getting a heart transplant.
Right.
And they were denied or something.
Yeah, something about the list. The heart. He wanted his son moved up on the list, and they had him down further on the list, but he ended up taking everybody hostage.
Yeah, until it happened and stuff. So we're saying with both of those movies, anything that you would do as a parent, you know, but this is a father roles we're talking about, they went out and beyond to save their child and do whatever they needed to do to make things happen to better their children's lives, which most parents should do and most fathers should do.
Right. And so, again, we want to wish everybody, guys, happy Father's Day. We're going to show some additional footage from Father's Day greetings and announcements. So don't go away. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. As soon as Wanda goes turn that off for me. See ya. Smooches.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy. This is from London.
Ah!
Parker. Parker. Parker.
Is it
Parker? Parker.
Hey, man.
Parker.
There you go.
Parker.
Hi, my name is Kennedy, and I want to say something to my father for Father's Day, that we love him and we care about him, we support him, and he does a great success to help us if we're in trouble at any times. And happy Father's Day. I love you, Daddy.
Parker. Say something, Glenda. Parker.
Parker.
Happy Father's Day to my dad. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
From?
Kamar.
Okay,
Rocky, don't be in.
go.
Hi, my name is Starlette, and I want to say Happy Father's Day to my dad, Emery Webb. Happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you.
Hi, my name is Matthew, and happy Father's Day. And I love you.
Happy Father's Day.
Daddy,
Daddy,
I love you.
I love you.
Bye.
Hello, my name is Dakari Alexander G, and I'm here to give a happy Father's Day to Dominic Anthony G and Kevin Lamar Pugh. Happy Father's Day.
Hello, I'm B. Pugh, and I would like to send a happy Father's Day to my dad, Monty Jones, Donnie Pugh, my boo Kevin Pugh, Dominic Anthony G, and Harry T. Jackson. Happy Father's Day.
What's going on, y'all? It's Rashad Sadiq up in here. Want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers, and a special shout out to my girl Fatima and my son Isaac, and for my grandfather, Colonel Luther Evans. Rest in peace. All y'all fathers.
Maggie Ali says happy Father's Day and kiss his buns. Okay.
Hello, this is Wanda with Let's Talk with Wanda. I'd like to give my father a happy Father's Day to Albert Middleton. I love you, Dad. I wish you was closer to me, but I love you. Always call and check on me, so happy Father's Day. And I'd also like to give a shout out to my grandfather, George Casey. Happy Father's Day. He's no longer with me, but he's always in my heart and memories. I miss you, Granddaddy, so much, and happy Father's Day.
Hello, we're in beautiful downtown Washington, D.C., right across the street from the Botanic Garden. And we're here to say happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And I want to give a special shout out to my dad, Harry Jackson, and my son, Dominic G. Wishing all of you guys out there a happy Father's Day, and be safe, be loved, and be successful, and be well. Smooches.